Hey everybody, Wandering Kid here. Welcome back to my playthrough of SpaceChem. We're on Sikutar, and we're going to be taking on the Challenge Applied Fusion board today. So, Applied Fusion takes water and goes to make phosphoric acid out of it. Key point to this is phosphorus is atomic weight 15. So, hints for the board. Hint number 1, the ratios are correct. Hint number 2, there are many different styles of solutions to this board. It really depends on where you want to get optimal. Hint number 3, if you control the output order of your leftovers from the water, you can build phosphorus in the first reactor. Okay, so let's get started. In our fusion, we're going to start with a fusion reactor. And our objective here will be to build phosphorus and kick out oxygen and OH. 1 oxygen for every 3 OHs while building our phosphorus atom. So actually, I'm going to want this, let's put this down here. We're going to kick phosphorus out over here. We don't need any of our bonders, so we'll just get them out of our way. Excuse me. Thank you. And we'll start with red as usual. So for red, we're going to start with needing to combine our entire OH atom. So we're going to do an in on beta, and we're going to grab it. We're going to come over here, and we're going to start with a fusion. And what this will do is it will fuse our hydrogen here into our oxygen here. Now we're going to come around. I'm going to rotate it. And by rotating it this way, I'm going to put the oxygen on the right-hand side. And when I come up through here, it's going to fuse it out. And what that'll do is it'll leave a neon in this position, and red will end up letting go. Now, we have a choice of whether we want to start whether we want 3 OHs and an O, or an O and 3 OHs from here. I would say probably start with the O. It's the easiest way. So we're going to send red back through. And we're going to have it do another in. We'll do it this way, actually. Let me see, how do I want to do this? I want to... Okay, I'm empty at this point after the fuse. If I come across, I need to be able to drag the atom this way and then this way. So I need to grab here. The problem is I wanted to use this lane to be able to do something useful with it. Because right now, if I grab it on the oxygen and I come down here, I'll run into the edge. Alright, so we're going to do this a little differently than I had in mind at first. And that will let me come this way. Fuse that way. And then fuse here. That will just give me a simple oxygen atom, which we will come around with, drop off here, do an out on omega. So we know we're dropping oxygen here. So let's just make sure I've got red working right. And come across. Fuse once, flip it, fuse it again. Now we've got neon. We do another in on beta. Grabs it by the oxygen. Oops, I didn't turn it. I had meant to turn it. Yeah, that will work. So we turn it. That gets the hydrogen in. That gets the other hydrogen in. Now we come through, and we drop off oxygen. Okay. So that's got our magnesium built. Now we need to kick out 3 OHs. So we're going to put a sink here, and we're going to tell red to stop for a second while blue goes. Now blue will do an in, a grab, a fuse, and I can't slip in behind. Problem is I'm going to have an atom here and it can't slip around the back. Not the way it's organized. So we're going to adjust this way, we're going to do a rotation on it. Diffuse it that way. Now we'll come this way. I'm going to rotate it back because I can. I'm going to drop it there. I'm going to out. And then we're going to cycle back through. And every time it goes through, we're going to sync. Okay, that's red. So this syncs it. Okay, so I've got 2 syncs in the loop. If I time this right, I shouldn't shoot myself in the foot, but hang on. No, I'm gonna need to dual sync it, unfortunately. So we've outed, we've synced. So red needs 2 syncs. So that lets it go. These 2 are for the first pass, these 2 are for the second pass, these 2 are for the third pass. And then we'll do an out on side. Let me make sure I've got, oh, hang on. Yeah, I don't have pipes. Let me just stretch my pipes out a second. So, if I've done this right, that kicks out an O. It's 2 OHs. That's 3 OHs. Oops. I have 1 too many red sinks. There we go. So we can bring this back here, shorten that up a hair. Now what I'd like to do is try and get rid of these 2 cycles blue is playing with. Although actually, I can reduce some cycling by doing that there. And if I do it that way, I can't do much with the red here. I'm putting phosphorus into this position on its outbound. Right now I've also got an OH going here. A hydroxyl radical. So what if I don't rotate it again? What if I just leave the OH going that way on the next one? That'll save me a cycle. Let's make sure nothing gets screwy on this. Okay, so this should produce our phosphorus. We've got an O and 3 OHs going out. That syncs red to start going. And red gets going again to build the next phosphorus. Okay. That gets us where we need to be there. Let's reset these pipes. We really don't care what reactor we have for the next one, so I'll just use a sensor reactor. We'll bring in phosphorus on top. We'll bring this in on the bottom. So, now we know we're bringing in a phosphorus, and we're bringing in hydroxyl radicals. Our expectation is to build phosphoric acid, which is a double bonded oxygen and then single bond OH off of the phosphorus. So the first thing it's got to do is make sure we've got a phosphorus. Excuse me, blue, we'll need you in a minute. So once we have that, we know we're bringing in our O and P here. So if we come down here, oops, come here, thank you. So let's say we bring in a beta and an alpha before we start. And we grab the phosphorus here. I'm in the wrong position, there we go. So this can be a little tighter. Now we're going to have to drop it off because blue's really going to be the one who has to play with this. We're going to bond it twice. Well, actually, we'll sync once, and then we'll have it stop there. Now blue is going to have to come in and play with it. Actually, if we start blue here, because what we're going to have to do is spin it. So if I bring in the oxygen here, So I've got an oxygen here. Aha! I have a better idea. Okay, so we're not going to drop it there. We're going to tell it to bond. But I'm going to come in from a different angle. This will make sense shortly. So I'm going to do a sink here. And the reason I'm going to do a sink there is that I'm going to have blue bond with it and then stop for a second while red figures itself out. Now red's going to get out of the way and rotate around twice. And then it's going to double sync, so blue knows it's allowed to start. So blue is going to do an in, a grab, come up this way, drop it. Going to do another in, grab it again, drop it, and do a third in. That'll build out our molecule. Okay, there's a problem with what I was planning. And that's, I need to cross over this way. I need to come down with the molecule, but I can't keep going down. So I need to come in this way and go up. I basically need to come in and retreat, which would be a lot easier with a flip-flop, but I don't have them yet. So, stop whining about milk you don't own. I need a bond here twice. What I really need is a little more room. Or a little less room if I flip the inputs. If I put the OH here... Okay, I'm going to change this reactor completely. Same general plan, but I'm going to flip how the inputs work. We're going to come in here. I'm going to have red drop there. And for blue... we're going to change how this spinner works. We're going to come up here with the molecule. We're going to fuse it. Fuse the hydrogen off the bottom. Now I'm coming this way. Oops. I'm going to rotate the hydrogen up. So that we can grab drop there. And over here, we're going to adjust how we're organized. Oops. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to have the OH there. Now, if I come in here, and I flip my inputs, and now I do it this way. This gives me a lot more room to play in, to be able to do what I need it to do. So, same theory. Red comes in, brings in a beta, grabs it, comes up, brings in an alpha, bonds it once, and we're going to have it step out of the way. So we're going to bring it around here. Rotate it twice so it's aimed down. We're going to sync it once. Blue is going to know it's synced, so we can do a bond with it, so we get the double bond on the oxygen. Now we're coming around with our O this way. Problem being, I run into the same general issue that I did last time. So if I do this, run color, come across, come this way, and bond it going this direction. Now I just have to be careful of the way I spin it. It needs to spin this way. I grab it here. All right, let's go this way with it. So I start this way, do my in, do my grab, get that out of the way, get that out of the way. Now I can come up with it later. And my guess is we'll be delivering that way. So just to see how this looks, let's get our phosphorus in. So we've grabbed our phosphorus, we bring in one oxygen, we double bond it, we start rotating it round, and we have blue start working now. Okay, so now we need blue to be up here. See, where do I want to start blue? Because what I need blue to do is come down, drop off, come down, drop off. Okay, so we're gonna bring in an alpha, come down, we will grab it, we will drop it, we'll come up, we will do another in on alpha, which we will then grab, we will then drop, we'll do one more in on alpha, so red it's allowed to go, and then wait for red to tell me I'm clear. So that sink is this one, that sink goes to this one, this sink has it wait. Come through, do a single bond, I'll have it here, we'll have one oxygen hanging, we'll do a drop. Problem is trying to get this grab on the bottom. Can I put this phosphorus over by one? Is that reasonable? No, because I've got to fuse and get around the back of it with the oxygen. So I'm going to have to deal with this phosphorus being in a very awkward position. It simply means that I have to do this the hard way. So that should come through there. Okay. A lot of symbols for this reactor, but let's see how it goes. Oops. I forgot to close the loop. Alright, so our first reactor comes through, makes a neon out of the first water atom, comes through again, splits off both hydrogens, and drops off an oxygen. Blue then comes through and 3 times drops off a hydroxyl radical, or an OH. And sends red off again after shipping out our phosphorus. Down here, red is waiting for its first phosphorus atom, which it gets. Brings in an oxygen, it gets double bonded between red and blue. Then it comes down here and waits while blue sets up all the rest of the components. Now red's gonna come in, do a massive bonding, drop it off, and ship it out. In the wrong pipe. Okay. There we go. So now we should be fine. Get things moving. We built up our OH. That ships it out, and that's 1. So, not too shabby. Let's see how we look. $4,300 cycles. Just a little high. 92 symbols, though. That's not horrible. 2 reactors isn't bad. So this is one way to do solve for it. There are other solutions. One solution would be splitting out O and H as separate outputs and then recombining them downstream. You could use sensor reactors or splitters or things of that nature to split O and H into different directions. So I wanted to bring your attention to one or two things. As I said, we ended up with 4368 on this. Now, poking around on the internet, I've seen some solutions that can get down into the low 3000s. And a lot of it has to do with optimizing, building out your phosphorus, which is fine. You could build it out over here and move it around. You could split off your oxygen and hydrogens. What you have to do is, once again in this game, you have to decide what you're optimizing for. This is relatively optimized for a 2-reactor solution. You could get much more complex in feeding your cycles through quicker by having more reactors perform more tasks. So you have to decide what you want to go for. I'm going to stick with this solution for the moment. So our next episode will be Exploding Head Syndrome, which is our boss fight on Sikutar. And as always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a like or a comment, and I'll see you next time.